Congratulations, class of 2018.
Yo, what is up, guys? It is your boy, Logan here. Back with another banger. Today I'm just going to be doing some random stuff.
Every graduation ever.
Bobby Portal Bottom.
Man, when I finally graduate, I'm going to be done with school forever.
My birthday today, guys.
Still got college and grad school. Good luck with that. Me? I've always dreamed of working at an Arby's, dunking my head in the deep fryer, and getting a disability. Peace, mama.
Tron McDameron.
I'm gonna be honest, I don't know how I made it, but I did. And then they're gonna call my name, and I'll flip off the audience. Oh yeah? I'm gonna do a little dance and flip off the audience.
Dude, nice. I'm gonna streak across the stage. I'm not kidding. Dude, I'm naked under this robe.
Me too. Oh, I think you got me pregnant. Were you planning on going to college? Sorry, that's out the window. I bang for kids.
Oh, Mom, I figured out how it works. Let's go. Mom.
I think it's because you had headphones plugged in at the same time.
No, it's because with my broadcast, there was a little box you had to tick to say include video from PlayStation camera.
Oh.
Yo, what is up, guys? It's your boy Ruby, back with another banger. So yeah, today's my birthday, guys. Hello, random squad. I am 10 today, and I'm streaming right now on YouTube. Get on the ground. Turn it off. There we go. So yeah, guys, for my birthday, I got a PlayStation camera. What the hell? Got a PlayStation camera, caps, cap gun, shoes, clothes. Oh, by the way, I got a headset. I got these shorts that says PlayStation on. PlayStation for life, boy. Yeah, bro. Another good thing about the PlayStation camera is that it has a mic. There's just spam over here. Oh, what the flip? Oh my god, you guys. Guys, I'm gonna go get my keyboard and show you it. BRB. Lights up. Can't see that, can you? So guys, yeah, it actually lights up. Quickly plug it in now. Well, it's wireless, so I don't have to plug it in. Oh, look at that. Nice glowing effect. That's nice. Pin keyboard and that mouse now. Let's do it. By the way, chocolate, double chocolate mocha. Very hot. Oh, God, so hot. Birthday to me. You guys are such try-hard sweats, am I right? Oops, didn't mean to click that. Don't control it once they still for one blooming second, will it? Yo guys, like the video if you want to see a birthday haul. When I get home from Oakwood, yeah guys, I'm going to Oak for my birthday. It's one of my Christmas presents. No, not Christmas, my birthday present. So yeah, we're going in about 45 minutes. Supposedly heading there about 12ish, no, 8ish. Yeah. Guys, I got a haircut. My hair, I like my hair slicked back. Mom, I need to do my hair. Oh, I love my days. Guys, time to film some keyboard and mouse. Boy. There it is. Guys, watch the mouse ready. The flash is red. Wait. How's it already connected? That's pretty good. Didn't know it was already connected. Wait, that's for both. That's good. That's cool. As long as one little piece is plugged in, then the keyboard and the mouse works. That's good. Whoever made this, that's good. Well, I know it begins with an X. I was looking for a video to watch. That's it.
Today we're going to see if we can use focused sunlight to fire a bullet.
That's a short one.
This is a bullet, a .22 caliber bullet, and this is our solar scorcher. And today we are going to see if we can use the solar scorcher to focus sunlight to fire the bullet. The idea here is pretty simple. We have a small metal plate that will rest the bullet on and focus the sunlight by tipping our solar scorcher. We want to know if the sunlight will be enough to get the bullet to fire. This plate doesn't really hold the bullet much, it just keeps it from rolling, so it will end up exactly where we want it to go. This cord is attached to the top of our solar scorcher, and by pulling on it, we can tip the solar scorcher until it's focused right where we want it. The cord is going to be pulled from about 50 feet away inside the cover of a concrete dome, which is perpendicular to the path of where the bullet is aimed. Even if the bullet managed to shoot with the force of a gun in our direction, we'll be behind a concrete wall about a foot thick. We also have a couple of pieces of foam cord, and we're just going to set those up behind and in front of our bullet to see if it happens to shoot straight enough to pass right through. Now, because this plate isn't holding the shell in place, it's pretty likely that the shell and bullet will shoot off in opposite directions with approximately equal power. Of course, all of that's assuming that the sunlight is enough to set it off in the first place, and I think it's time we do a test. First, we're going to remove the bullet and put a small stick in its place. We'll test pulling the solar scorcher with the rope, seeing if we can angle it just right so that it starts burning that stick. That's going to be how we know if we have enough heat on it to try and light up the bullet. It certainly lights that stick up pretty well. Now let's try it with the bullet.
Damn it.
That's a fire.
Oh my god.
I don't know where the pieces went, but here's the bullet part. I don't know what that hit. Like if it just popped apart, we'll have to watch the footage. You know, even if it does that 50 times, I'm not going to stand out here next to it. You never know, that one time. Like that. Ooh! But there's an impact mark. Shell, maybe the bullet hit that and bounced?
Don't let it red.
Interesting. There's a slight impact mark. Doesn't even go through to the other side, but something hit it. Interesting.
Whoa.
Well, this board has nothing except, well, it does have a couple of tiny spots.
Are you good at building or
I guess I didn't pay enough attention to that. Let's check the footage and see if we can figure out what happened. No way to tell where it went.
Oh no.
To me, it looked like both went that way, but wait, did we see the bullet land back on here?
Yo guys, BRB, I'm just gonna quickly do my hair. Show it to you. Be back in say like 10 minutes. Maybe even 5. Probably 5. BRB.
Right, that's a good opportunity then. Before you do your hair, take your top off. Yeah. As you're doing your hair, I'll put your other top on. It's upstairs. Come upstairs for a second. Brush your teeth.
Guys, BRB, I'm just going upstairs to brush my teeth.
I've left that on.
Yes. Oh, come on. The tag's still on.
I can just sit down. I don't know my life. What? What? What is it? That's it. Oh.
You got wrong.
Careful.
You got wrong.
I know.
Guys, I just need to brush my hair. Well. Hey, Pippi.
Teapots in the back of the chair.
Sorry?
T-shirt.
Oh, yeah. I'll put my socks on after. Don't want to get them dirty. car. Yo, guys, I'm back and I'm here.
I'm surprised it takes as long as it does. This solar scorcher can actually melt the bullet shell. It's possible I don't have it focused quite right. Getting the height is really tricky. There it goes. Oh, last time we had an impact. This time we caught the bullet. Oh, that's great. So, not a lot of force on that bullet. If it can't even shoot its way through a single piece of foam core. It dented the back, but it didn't make it all the way through. Oh, there you go, magicians. That's how you do a bullet catch. You just have the bullet not be in a gun, set it off with the power of sunlight, and catch it in a piece of foam core. Nothing could be easier. It did go pretty straight. That was almost exactly where it was aimed. Of course, it also hit the foam core sideways, so it was tumbling a bit. Lack of rifling will do that. And I really just don't know what happened to the shell. It didn't leave a mark, so it didn't shoot off straight backwards unless it ran right into the wood. Oh, maybe it did. There's a little chip in the wood right here. That's pretty in line with it. Oh, that is probably it. Man, that didn't just shoot the bullet. That is destroyed.
Yeah?
Wow. So not being contained in a gun, that just exploded.
Nah, it was for...
I'm going to move the foam core to the other side of the wooden leg support. That was quicker. Ooh, we got a good focal point on it. Okay, we definitely caught the shell with the board this time. In fact, I believe it shot right through. That's the most powerful impact we've had with a piece of foam core so far. The bullet didn't make through. This last shot,
I'm gonna do some
I don't see any indication of where the bullet hit. I think we just lost it. Maybe it went off sideways. I'm not sure. But the shell looks like it launched right through, so I'm not sure where it would have ended up. Probably didn't get too far, given how much power we've seen that these things don't have before, but exploded nicely. Setting off bullets with the power of sunlight, definitely possible. But now I do want to take it one step farther, and rather than just setting the bullet on top of this metal tray, I'm actually going to try and grip the shell in the vise itself and see if we can get it to shoot with the force of a bullet. We've got a couple pieces of veg-tanned leather right here, and we're just using those to help grip the bullet shell more evenly, so it's not just biting into the rim. See the leather smoking.
Random fact, the average bullet travels at 2,500 feet per second, which is roughly twice as fast as the speed of sound.
Yeah! Alright, we got the bullet to fire. The leather dropped out, and the shell is not here. I was hoping we would end up with just a shell being held in the vise. And we try squeezing a little bit harder. As for the bullet, let's see, did we hit our... I don't see any indication of a bullet mark on our board here. I'm going to assume
Got
we
my
missed.
pickaxe,
Oh, there's one little chip. That might be from a bullet. That might have just been a scratch. I'm not sure. It's also possible that the shell is exploding. The shell explodes. It doesn't really matter how well it's being held because there's not much shell left. Bam! Fire's quick when it's properly focused. It smells like burning leather. Delightful. Still no indication of bullet impact. And once again, the leather was blown clear and we have no shell. Let's try again and squeeze it down even tighter.
Guys, this is actually my gameplay. I wish I could turn the camera down, but I don't want to mess the camera up. But yeah, here's my gameplay.
Still lost our shell. And not seeing much in the way of an impact spot. Like, not so much as a dent, really.
Damn it, right there.
Sunlight and bullets. Can you use concentrated sunlight to fire off a bullet? Turns out, yes, you can. It fires just sitting in a tray. It fires held in a device. We did not get any results that indicate that you can get a bullet to go where you want it by using sunlight. We could probably build a nice little complicated mechanism that holds the shell on almost all sides, which just lets in enough sunlight to set it off, and maybe then we could get it to shoot in a nice straight line. But overall, I would say this is a terribly impractical way to shoot bullets. The sun moves, or more accurately, we move in reference to the sun, and that makes it so you have to realign your solar scorcher, your magnifying lens. Like every couple of minutes, we're just having to move and adjust and move the solar scorcher, move the device, move the bullets back and forth. So it can work. I don't recommend it. In fact, this is not really a super safe activity, so there's no reason to do this anyway. But we just wanted to know if it was possible, and it is. The solar scorcher does get hot enough to ignite the gunpowder within the shell and fire off a bullet. Although, like we saw, not with much force. It almost managed to pierce a piece of foam core, which I'm pretty sure most people could punch through. So it does fire, just not with as much power as you might be interested in. Guys, thanks for watching, but the fun doesn't end here. That box up at the top will transport you directly to our last video. You should check that one out. The other box will show you what YouTube thinks you should be watching next. And if you haven't joined the club yet, hit this bomb to become a subscriber, and that way you never miss out on the fun. Don't forget to ring that bell, and we'll see you in the next one. Talk to you then.
What's up, guys? I'm hanging out again with my good friend Richie from the Sonic Dad Labs. You might remember in a video we got together and built this thing. This is a 25mm cannon powered by alcohol and shoots at an impressive speed. So out of the blue one day, Richie says, I've just been playing around for fun and I made this little missile for the cannon. What do you think? And first of all, I love it because it's black and yellow. It's totally my colors. The second thing that went through my mind was some of your comments said, why don't you try making exploding ammunition? So I asked Richie, can we put some kind of a pin firing device here that would hit a primer cap and make these things into impact-sensitive exploding missiles? How do you actually design a missile like this, Richie?
Well, I have a 3D CAD system. Basically, start with the bore of the barrel and go from there. Figure out the ratio I want for the length and the diameter. I actually looked at some mortar shell designs because I really liked the shape, and this is kind of fashioned after some of the mortar shells out there. So I think it looks pretty cool.
So the primers are the little cups that go on the back of your bullets, and when the firing pin from the gun hit them, it causes an explosion to come out the other end, sending your bullet flying. Now, when you add your primer, you want to add it with the inside of the cup facing inside the shell, so the flat end is sticking out. And that's so that when the nail hits it, it will fire inside the nose cone. We're going to use a bit of super glue around the base of this retainer, and that's going to help hold it in place in the nose cone. My fingers are going to stick together in a second. And we're going to use some activator here. This just helps the glue harden a little bit quicker. Now, there's a couple ways we could go with this design, guys. We could take a primer cap, set it in the tip, and then insert our nail, and now we've basically got a glorified cap dart that'll go off with a tremendous amount of power. But for this project, we thought we'd take it up a notch by introducing a little bit of black powder. The way that Richie designed these nose cones is we can actually pack them up with about 4 to 5 grams of a black powder equivalent. Then we'll use a little bit of hot glue to form a bulkhead and put the tail fins in place. Once these things are put together, they're actually very, very safe. It's not until you add the nail to the tip that they become active and ready for use. This is a muzzle loading propellant, but it's still really fun to play with. A little craft foam divider will help separate the black powder from the hot glue. Makes it a little bit safer and just helps hold it in place. And then we just seal that thing up. Beautiful, that's beautiful. It looks like liquid glass. So there are 2 different variations that Richie's made. One is just the nose cone that we fill up with powder and then basically glue the tail into place. The second one here is a little bit different. It's got a chamber for the powder on the inside and then an outer chamber that we're going to fill up with baby powder. The idea is that when these things explode, it's going to spray powder everywhere and make a little bit more noticeable impact.
We want to put the baby powder around first. I've got the filters that goes in, keeps baby powder out of our powder chamber in a funnel.
You just thought of everything.
So I'm just using a little dowel to help consolidate this powder so I can get as much in as I can. Now on this design, the nose cone is really thin out here, so I'm actually going to put the glue around the center where it's thicker. Otherwise the glue would melt the nose cone. Stick that down in there.
Nothing you can't do with a little bit of hot glue. You remember that Richie designed this barrel so that it just pops right off? And now you can take your ammunition, push it up into the barrel, and then it just slides right back into the ignition chamber. It's ready to go. So we got our 2 variations set. The glue is hardening, so all you have to do is repeat that process now over and over and over again.
Multiply by 30.
Improvised party horns. So there you have it, guys. With a little bit of time and with Richie's amazing brains, we've just put together a whole arsenal of these little exploding missiles, which hopefully will go off on impact. Unfortunately, we can't test them out right now because we're at the golf course. We need to head out deep into the desert because we're going to make about 30 more of these things and test them all out. So you'll see that in the next video. In the meantime, go over to the Sonic Dad channel. They've got a smaller version of this cannon that will shoot marshmallows, and I'll put a link in the description where you can go and download the PDF for free. The Sonic Dad team has amazing ideas, and they're all very kid-friendly. So go check them out, sonicdad.com.
Thank you, Grant. It was fun doing this project with you.
Yes, it was. Yeah. Cheers.
And they go off.
Hey guys, I'm out of the hot springs today because we're trying an experiment today using dry ice. So Crazy Russian Hacker just posted a video on the internet throwing 30 pounds of dry ice into a swimming pool, and it made a really cool effect. So it got me thinking. I went to the store and cleaned them out, and I just picked up 200 pounds of dry ice. Oh wow. So I brought my family out to the hot springs today because as far as I know, nobody has ever tried throwing dry ice into the hot springs. I need a little bit of help today, so I enlisted my buddy Jeremy to come out. He's going to be our guinea pig, and we're going to get started by smashing up all this dry ice and throwing it in a bucket, and then we're going to toss 100 pounds of dry ice into a pool with Jeremy, and we really have no idea what to expect here. As long as you keep moving it quickly, there's not enough time for it to frostbite your fingers. But you don't want to grab onto the stuff for very long. It is cold. Now, the more we can break up this dry ice, the quicker it's going to react with the water because there's going to be more surface.
Yay, they'll be here in 10 minutes.
The bottom of our bin is cracking and the dry ice is falling out. That's how cold it is. We should probably get it going, huh?
Guys, you ready to play?
Oh wow, that's amazing.
I can feel so every night.
Have you ever seen anything like this before? The whole bottom fell out of that bucket. Yeah, it's completely destroyed. This is the bucket I used to throw the dry ice, but it got so cold on the bottom that the plastic completely shattered. How crazy is that? Jeremy, how long has it been going? Okay guys, I can't believe this. We're pushing 7 minutes and it's still going strong. This water is so hot, I can't believe that dry ice lasted. You can see how thick that fog still is. Like this is solid carbon dioxide. When it hits the water, it heats up and the carbon dioxide vaporizes and goes back into the atmosphere. The moisture in the air is getting so cold that it's condensing and turning back into a cloud, and that's what the vapor is that you're seeing here. What kind of sorcery is this? I've actually still got some remnants of the dry ice down here. May as well throw that in. Oh, my little boy just threw it into this pool. That's cool. Found the secret stash. Okay, we're going to do one more shot into this pool back here and see how that looks. Jeremy, is this what you expected to be doing today? The beat's having a real job, doesn't it? Okay, so this is seriously awesome, guys. Perfect day to be doing this experiment with all the steam coming off. It looks like it'd be minus 52 below, but it's not. It's more like 85, and we're loving it. Wow, you're on TV! Hey! So we used up quite a bit of dry ice. We're down to about our last 40 or 50 pounds. So I'm going to go talk to the staff and see if they'll turn on the water slides for us. Maybe we can take these bad boys for a ride. Where did you go? Grab your safety gear and sign the waiver because we're exploring 5 insane science stunts you won't be learning at school. Normally we don't think of metals as being very dangerous. We use them all the time. But sodium metal is one that's extremely reactive. The second it touches water, it starts ripping the water molecules apart and releasing hydrogen gas, which you can see is highly flammable and in some cases explosive. The vigorous reaction is exothermic and gets so hot, it'll spontaneously burst into flames and can explode. Now, if a piece of wood is thrown on top, the elemental sodium blasts back with tremendous power and sends the wood flying. Now, the reaction also forms sodium hydroxide, which is very caustic and typically used as a drain cleaner. But you might remember from a previous video, we can take that dangerous chemical with bacon grease and make it into a custom bar of shower soap. For this next experiment, we need a plastic soda bottle filled a third of the way with lukewarm water and a little bit of liquid nitrogen. Now, if we pour a bit of the cryogenic fluid into the bottle and simply turn it upside down, the bottle blasts off with tremendous force. Now we've got a high-risk handheld rocket launcher. This works because the liquid nitrogen floats on the water and the gas can escape out the top, but when the bottle is turned over, the liquids trade places and the nitrogen is instantly vaporized, blasting water out the nozzle with incredible pressure. These bottles can shoot hundreds of feet at high velocity, which apparently is enough power to break clean through my kitchen window. There's also a risk of these blowing up in your hand, so why don't we move on to the next experiment while we're still in one piece. Now, one way to supercharge a Halloween party is with a spellbinding blasto-lantern. Just pour a bit of calcium carbide into a small plastic cup, then carefully set it inside a pre-carved pumpkin. When all the pieces of the pumpkin are back in place, simply pour in a bit of water and put the lid back on top. The pumpkin will slowly fill up with highly flammable acetylene gas. So as you might be able to guess, we're going to light that off with a fuse. Now when the spark hits the gas, it blasts off a sinister looking place with a startling amount of power. I also probably find this trick extremely amusing because anytime you mix acetylene gas with a pumpkin, it's bound to get a very spirited reaction. With some simple engineering, you can turn a junk microwave like this into an electrical metal melter that'll pump out a shocking 800 amps of metal melting current. We just need to break inside to access the electronics, then locate this awesome piece of equipment, a 1500 watt microwave oven transformer. Now there are 2 coils on this beast, a primary and a secondary, and if we cut off the secondary and replace it with 2-gauge insulated cable, we've got ourselves an incredible device that'll melt metal in just a few seconds. When it gets turned on, it pumps out a staggering amount of electrical current, which you can see is enough to reduce a machine screw to a flowing river of molten metal. It'll also weld sheet metal, melt neodymium magnets, and heat steel until it's glowing hot, just in case you're in the mood for a little amateur blacksmithing.
About 6 weeks.
For this last experiment, we're making pie, but trust me, you don't want to eat this one. We'll need to take this recipe outside and away from anything flammable and get started by mixing precise amounts of sugar and potassium nitrate. This is a highly flammable mixture already, and the more we shake it, the faster it's going to react when we light it later on. Now, if we warm this powder on medium-low heat, you can see the sugar begins to caramelize and absorb the nitrate salts. When it's all melted and mixed together, it kind of looks like pumpkin pie filling, so why don't we try pouring it into a pie crust and letting it set for a few minutes. If it weren't for the fuse sticking out of the center, you'd think it was just a regular pumpkin pie. But watch what happens if we light it off. It bursts into a fountain of flames and spews hot ash like a miniature volcano. This gives a whole new meaning to the term pyrotechnics, and this just might be the first dessert that burns its own calories. Well, there are 5 crazy science stunts you probably won't see in the classroom, and while I can't recommend you actually try these experiments, you know what would happen if you did. That's it for now. If you like these projects, perhaps you like some of my others. Check them out at thekingofrandom.com.
Well, that was exciting. Hey guys, I hope you like these demonstrations. They are some of my favorites, probably because they're a little bit dangerous, but that keeps it real. And if you felt the power and learned something new, then why don't you share this video on Facebook and Twitter and Reddit, because it really does help a lot. Now there's one thing I need you to do right now. Click on this video that All Time 10s just released on their channel. It's showing 10 crazy experiments that scientists did to themselves. This is a video you need to see, and if you don't know who All Time 10s are by now, you need to. They do some of the best top 10s videos on the internet. They have a super popular YouTube channel with almost 3 million subscribers, and as you might have guessed, this video is in collaboration with theirs. So go check them out, subscribe to them, and tell them that Grant Thompson sent you. Now in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to show you how to make miniature rockets that'll launch off your desktop. So subscribe right now if you haven't already, because I'd really like to see you around in those project videos. Are you still here? Go check out All Time 10s. Whether you get dry ice from the store or make it at home with a fire extinguisher, here are 5 things you could do with dry ice, but probably shouldn't. For this first experiment, I'm using this bottle of Fuel Line Antifreeze because it's 99% isopropyl alcohol. Like other alcohols, this stuff has to get tremendously cold before it'll freeze. So if we mix in some chunks of dry ice, you can see the ice boils violently until the temperature cools down around minus 109 Fahrenheit. Now we've got a makeshift cryogenic napalm, so let's see what happens if we drop in a gummy worm. This sub-zero slurry is so cold that it flash freezes the worm completely solid in under 20 seconds. In fact, it's so hard now that if we try hitting with a hammer, the whole thing shatters like it was made of glass. The sudden transformation really is incredible, and you might just have to break one to believe it. Did you know you can use dry ice to make a popsicle? Start by making a groove or an indentation in a slab of dry ice about ½ an inch deep. Now try balancing a popsicle stick in the center of the groove, then fill it up with your favorite drink. You'll see that the instant it touches the dry ice, it'll fog over with a misty white vapor. Now because dry ice is only freezing the liquid on the bottom side, it's going to take a few minutes for the cold to penetrate all the way through. So just sit back and enjoy the magic happening right before your eyes. In a little over 10 minutes, you should be able to give your popsicle a little wiggle and pull it out of the mold. But don't lick it yet. This popsicle is about 5 times colder than normal and will stick to your tongue. So dip it in a glass of water to warm it up a bit first, then sit back and enjoy your delicious homemade dry icicle. Now check this out. We know that dry ice is a solid that sublimates straight into a gas. But what if we could turn it into a liquid? If dry ice can be liquefied, does it become dry water? Liquid CO2 can actually exist in our atmosphere, but if we're really careful, there's a way we can see it in its liquid state. If we fill a special preform with a few pieces of dry ice and seal it inside, it'll immediately begin pressurizing the container. Once the pressure gets up around 75 pounds per square inch, an amazing thing begins to happen. The ice starts to melt, and we can actually see what liquid carbon dioxide looks like. Now we really need to watch this carefully because as soon as the ice melts, the pressure can quickly rise to well over 1,000 psi and blow the container. Before this one explodes, let's watch what happens to the fluid if we carefully release the pressure. The liquid is instantly transformed into dry ice snow, and you can see all the fluid suddenly disappearing. Now to show you why this demonstration is so risky, let's put one of these containers in a cup filled with warm water, then get really far away. You can see exactly how clear and beautiful liquid dry ice is, and at the same time, exactly how powerful it is.
So yeah guys, thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe. If you never want to miss a video, never want to miss anything, live stream, whatever, remember to hit that notification bell.
Close and suck in as quickly as you can. If you do it right, it's going to look really cool. The white smoke is safe to breathe because it's just water vapor mixed with carbon dioxide. So go creep someone out with
if I'm looking over there,
now, if you
that's because the camera is on the right hand side.
CO2 is what triggers your reflex to exhale.
Not the camera, but the video of the
your insides. For this next experiment, we need to be out in the open and away from anything flammable. You can see I've filled a hole with a slab of dry ice, and that's where we're going to be dropping a quarter strand of magnesium ribbon. Now watch what happens when we light the magnesium with a blowtorch, drop it down in a hole, and seal it with another slab of dry ice. It creates a vicious reaction that burns brighter than the sun, which you can see is enough to light up my yard in the middle of the night. Now the crazy thing about this is carbon dioxide usually puts out fires because it starves the fire of oxygen. But in this reaction, the magnesium is so hungry for it that it rips oxygen right out of the frozen CO2 and leaves behind a pile of black and white ash. The remains are mostly magnesium oxide and magnesium nitride, but the black ash contains a lot of elemental carbon, which interestingly enough